Aisha's secret life unveiled. She thought she was human, but she discovered that she's a robot. Welcome to the Recap Storyteller. Please watch, enjoy, and subscribe to my channel for more videos today. I am going to recap the movie. Don't Look Deeper from 2020. The movie opens with Aisha, who often feels troubled and talks to her therapist Sharon about her problems. After her therapy session, Aisha heads to college with her friend Carrie. At college, she encounters her boyfriend Levi and notices various AI robots from different companies working there. In one class, there's a high-frequency sound that bothers Aisha. She turns off the sound machine, which surprises everyone. Aisha confides in Sharon about the situation. In the evening, Aisha meets her father Martin and then goes to Levi's house. To her shock, she finds Levi in an intimate situation with a robot named Emma. This angers Aisha and she leaves. In her anger, she attends a college party and gets close to another person. Levi arrives and a heated argument ensues. Levi apologizes, explaining that he was testing the robot, which is against the rules. He had secret codes that allowed him to control the robot. Aisha is deeply disturbed, leading to their breakup. Aisha, still upset, goes to the restroom and accidentally injures her hand. Strangely, instead of seeing veins, she notices some peculiar wiring in her body with blinking lights. This terrifies her, and she faints. When she wakes up the next day, she sees her hands and abdomen are severely injured with glowing wires inside. She wants to tell her father, but realizes he's already gone to work. Aisha goes to school and talks to her friend Kari, who seems worried. Aisha wants to understand what's happening to her, so she talks to the humanoid androids at school and shows them the wiring in her system. They explain that it's her processing system, making Aisha realize she's a robot. Aisha rushes to her doctor and tells her everything. The doctor seems aware of the situation, calms Aisha down, and activates a status mode, then contacts Aisha's father. Aisha wakes up the next morning and has a bad dream. She discusses it with her father, goes to school, and has a disagreement with Carrie from the previous day, even though she can't remember what happened. In class, Jenny, a classmate, tries to talk to Aisha about her condition, but Aisha is confused and doesn't understand. Jenny produces a high-pitched sound that affects Aisha's circuits, and Aisha hurries out of the classroom. She speaks to the school android she had talked to before and discovers her memories were wiped. He restores her memories. Panicking, Aisha leaves the school, but she can't leave town. Meanwhile, a man named Noah presents nanobots that can fix deafness at a fancy gathering. One of his employees informs him about the problems in Aisha's town. Back at school, Aisha talks to Levi and gets codes that control the robots. She uses these codes to activate dormant functions in her body, even stopping her simulated menstruation. Excited, she keeps experimenting with the codes, including face recognition and data download. Her memory max is exceeded, and she has a flash of a child telling her not to leave him before her system fails, and she collapses. Noah and his employee inform Noah's brother Abel about the situation in Aisha's town. Aisha's father takes her home after she collapses. He promises to return quickly, but little does he know, Isaiah's heightened senses allow her to eavesdrop on his conversation with someone else. He talks about the werewolf situation surrounding her, which is taking a toll on her, and he heads over to Sharon's house to discuss Aisha's condition. He mentions that they can't continue like this, but Sharon warns him not to reveal anything. Aisha becomes aware that her newfound self-awareness might put her in danger if she's left alone at the house. She starts going through her father's belongings and accidentally activates a tablet he uses to monitor her, even her thoughts and actions. Then we get a flashback to 4 years ago at a teachers' convention in Dallas. Martin sees Aisha playing alone and strikes up a conversation. They quickly connect and she shares that she's there with her mother, Sharon, who is a professor. Later, Martin meets Sharon, and they get to know each other better. That night, they spend time together while drunk in bed. Martin confesses that Aisha reminds him of his late 8-year-old daughter. Martin and Sharon don't start dating, but Sharon keeps Aisha's true identity as a robot a secret. One day, after Aisha calls Martin to pick her up, she suddenly malfunctions in his car. He has to put her in status mode due to the malfunction. When they return home, Martin is angry that Sharon kept Aisha's nature a secret. She explains that it was for Aisha's safety, but Martin can't handle this revelation and decides to leave. 2 months later, Sharon finds Martin in a cafe and tells him that Aisha misses him. He feels the same way, and they agree that she and Aisha will move to California with him. He will pose as her father, and Sharon will continue as her doctor. In the present, Aisha decides to confront her father in the living room, seeking the truth. Morton explains that she's a program created by Sharon while she worked for a robotics company. They didn't want her to develop Aisha to that extent and warn that they will kill her if they ever find her. An angry Aisha leaves the house and goes to school, feeling like she has nowhere else to go. She reaches out to the board that helped her before, and they help her secure her memories from being erased. She then goes to Sharon's house and confronts her about constant surveillance, threatening to release a video she made of herself online. Sharon agrees to stop the surveillance, giving Aisha more freedom. Aisha starts exercising her newfound freedom by changing her appearance and clothing. She goes to school where Carrie and Levy try to talk to her, but she decides to avoid them and goes home. Meanwhile, Sharon reviews Aisha's data and recalls a conversation with her boss when she first created Aisha. Her work was seen as a waste, and they tried to take Isaiah away from her, keeping her locked up. Aisha kept acting out, walking out of tests without finishing them, giving up on her life. As she walks out of the school, she witnesses Abel mistreating a malfunctioning school robot. She is horrified by his actions, and he notices her. She starts to walk away, but Jenny, who had been following her from school, intervenes. Jenny explains that she found her through an old radio frequency tracker on Isaiah's foot. Back at the school, Abel interacts with another school robot and decrypts private information in their system. He comes across a conversation with Aisha showing her injured hand and wires inside. Carrie, who has been secretly observing, takes a picture of Isaiah's image outside the school. Jenny helps Isaiah once more to find her way out of a tough situation. She takes Isaiah to a hidden place, a spot filled with memories they once shared. Even though Isaiah can't quite recall the details of their plan, she heads home to collect her things and talk to her father. After convincing him that leaving is safer, Aisha sets out to meet Jenny and Levi. They agree to drive them out of the city. One night, Abel ambushes Aisha inside her car, taking a photo she had previously captured and injecting her with an unknown substance. Sharon then meets Martin to discuss Aisha. When they return home, they find an angry Abel waiting for them. Martin threatens to call the police, but Abel warns against it, as it would reveal Sharon's illegal activities. On the road, Aisha and her friends are heading to Canada. During the journey, Aisha brings up Levi's actions involving school robots, which disappoints her. Levi makes an insensitive comment about it being just a machine, inadvertently hurting Aisha, who is somewhat like a robot herself. The group spends the night in a motel, and Judy tries to restore Aisha's old memories, while Levi goes to get coffee. Meanwhile, Abel shares all the data he's gathered on Aisha with his brother. Aisha's erased memories start flashing back, revealing her intense obsession with Jenny and their past romantic relationship. Martin had been concerned and took her to get help, leading to Sharon erasing Aisha's memories of Jenny, which hurt Jenny deeply. Aisha also remembers the first time she was introduced to Sharon's bosses and their rejection, which led to her being taken to a warehouse where Abel threatened to keep her forever. Aisha suddenly wakes up and screams as these memories flood back. As Aisha runs through the remote road, she recalls a child robot left in the warehouse with her, whom she had promised to help. The story then shifts to 5 years ago when Sharon was developing Aisha. Aisha expresses loneliness, leading her to create a little boy robot to be Isaiah's brother. Aisha's battery starts to fail, posing a risk of malfunction. Jenny and Levi find Aisha feeling weak by the roadside and take her to a nearby charging station, leaving her alone for a few minutes. But Abel appears out of nowhere and kidnaps her, taking her back to the facility. Aisha asks why he didn't turn her off, and he explains that Noah wants to see her first. Isaiah pleads with Abel to let her see her brother, and moved by her sincerity, he allows her to do so. However, Noah interrupts their time together, taking Aisha to another room where Martin and Sharon await. Aisha pleads to leave, but Noah is reluctant because it would harm his business. As Aisha attempts to escape, a virus installed by Abel starts deleting her programming. Martin rushes to her side as she begins to shut down completely. The story ends with Aisha and her brother being processed into scrap, leaving Martin devastated as they leave the facility. Libby and Jenny realize Aisha is gone. Days later, Levi and Jenny return to school and run into the board that helped Aisha. After several attempts, they manage to activate the data stored in the robot. They leave a message for Aisha's father, explaining that they are seeking someone to build her the right body. The movie concludes by showing a small factory where people are working on robot bodies. In one corner, Isaiah's body stands still, awaiting its transformation. Have you watched this movie? If you have, let us know your opinion in the comments section. If you haven't, it is a must-watch for you. And please support us by giving us a like and subscribe to this channel. Remember to also click the notification bell to get notified when we drop new videos.